All right, guys, here's a good one, okay? Poking around online. And this argument comes up a lot, right? Okay, about like conspiracy theories, right? Now, just take any one theory that you want, okay? Just one, like 9/11, 9/11, the towers. Remember that one? Okay. How could so many people be in on it? Like that or anything else. How could so many people be in on it? It's like, geez, that's funny. That's what kids think, when they're kids about Santa Claus. Jesus, like all the parents are in on it or something. I don't know. And think about it. I love how people think they know everything just because they graduated school and they found out there's no Santa Claus. You can't remain teachable if you think you're the repository of all knowledge ever. Then there's no extra learning that can take place, right? So your mind is closed to any new knowledge, right? So that's a careful part of the programming. Okay. Now let's go back to how could so many people be in on it? Well, that's easy, Karen. That's easy. There's so many different ways. A lot of the ways, I mean, there's probably way more ways than I'm aware of, okay? But let's just go through some real subtle ones, right? Number one is compartmentalization, right? Okay, I need you, you get hired somewhere. I need you to go over there, do that job. Don't talk to Joe in accounting unless you really super have to. And just do that job and don't say anything to anybody about it, okay? And you just do it. You're just like, oh, you're just happy to have a job, feed your kids and shit, right? So, all right. And then if you happen to find something out, there's threats. You're going to lose your job. If you say anything, you can lose your job. You lose credibility. Yeah, they can do all that, right? The other threat, well, we'll hold your wife and kids for ransom, or we can off them, or we can off you. If that doesn't, if the first levels don't work, and it's like then we get to the point, right? Now think about what happened around the time of the moon landings and crap, right? Around the same time, there was all sorts of other scandals going on. Okay, so think about this, right? How could so many people be in on it? Well, geez, there were, there were, and some just kind of disappeared, and you don't know what happened to them. Other ones got, think about it. It seems all disconnected. It seems, or it's mysterious, mysterious circumstances. And it's like, geez, I mean, you can only have 3 or 4 mysterious circumstances, and it's no longer, it's a pattern, it's a habit. So there's a lot of different ways, and the best way is just psychological operations, right? If someone like me starts talking about certain things, you just say, he's crazy. It's like, okay. So then you just won't even listen to them. If you think someone's crazy, they don't know what they're talking about. But it's kind of funny. It's like, I love that part. It's like, how could so many people be in on it? Because, and that's easy in a lot of ways, right? Like I said, there's probably ways that I'm not even aware of. But take, for instance, I used to work, I'm going to make this real quick, but I used to work in a fiber optics factory, right? It was interesting. They just said it was for communications. I have no idea still what we were making, what they were for, okay? Now, this was just before 9/11, before we went into the Gulf again over there. Now, I have no clue. My teeth are coming out. I have no clue what we were making. They just said it was communications. Now I kind of wonder. It could have been for a wire-guided missile, I think, or not wire, but fiber optics for the wire-guided missile. It'd been a long time since I was in the military, and I didn't work that closely with a lot of munitions and stuff, right? But then and that was way before that, right? So I got thinking about it. I was like, oh, I could have been responsible for putting together a weapon that killed a bunch of people overseas. I would have no clue about that. I would have absolutely no clue. And the same thing with the Manhattan Project. There's a lot of people, they were told don't say anything. They were involved with the Manhattan Project, and they didn't know until years later. Some absolutely did know, the higher ups, and they were on their deathbed. I knew people that were taking care of them in hospice, okay, and they felt horrible about it. they didn't want forgiveness. You know, when the priest comes in and say, they didn't want forgiveness. They said, I deserve to burn in hell for what the fuck I did. I was like, God damn, that's pretty intense, man. And they're probably just following orders, just doing their job, taking care of their family, trying to stay alive, you know, just like the rest of us, you know. So, and then time goes by and people forget, and then, you know, and then when you get that old, when you're like, you know, on your deathbed and you're saying certain things, you know, so much time has gone by, and then most likely people are like, oh, he's just, you know, dementia, you know, stuff like that. So anywho, but it's interesting seeing some neat stuff come out now. However, I'm not fully convinced this crap, okay? Because just because they're giving us a little knowledge nugget and we think it's, you know, part of the truth, you know, they got so much stuffed in their crack of their ass that you can't see. It's unbelievable. You know, it's just like dealing with my ex, man. If she gives you a little nugget of truth, you bet your ass she only gave that to you to throw you off the track for a little bit, okay? She wants to make you think that you got some knowledge, and then you're off and going on in that direction. She's over here still doing her thing. So be careful what you hear out there as far as, you know, word and government stuff. You know, they're not in our best interest, okay? They never will be. We have to be in our best interest, but I don't know how that's going to happen. But hey, good luck. Stay safe out there. Think.